Welcome to the Goth and the Sloth. I am your Sloth, Matt.
And I'm Luna the Goth.
This is the podcast of two friends living a country apart and, trying not to burn the world down, but, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. We decided to take the first part of our podcast to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic, how it's affecting our lives, how it's affecting your lives, and how it's slowly tearing apart the fabric of all reality as we know it.
Huh, yeah, I guess this is kind of like a end game finale. Certainly
just
feels that way.
just hope some portals with some awesome people that we thought are gone all show up.
Yeah, I'm not even excited by that prospect, but sure, that sounds like a great thing.
What if a portal opens up and David Bowie walks out
That'd be
and
great.
he's got Van Halen with him
And
and
Prince.
Prince.
As long as they're like, we're not coming to save you, just come with us. We have a better place for you to be right now.
So how you been doing?
Fine.
Sounds about right.
I'm uh I I don't think there's an English word or human word. There's just a sound that really portrays how I am, and there's also like a physical expression as a dancer is wont to do, um that is not great for podcasting, but the sound is ugh.
I believe the Germans do have a word for that. It's called Feibenbrosen.
Huh.
Don't
All
check
right,
don't check
Germans.
that up. Just believe me. Just go with
Don't check it out. Got it. Not suspicious at all. How are you doing?
Well, I just got done with a very busy day at work, so this will be a fun podcast of yelling and excitement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been nuts for me with work as well. Like, I'm just so, so beyond capacity right now. But that's okay, because gotta make that money.
Gotta make that scratch.
Yeah, yeah.
So, how's the greater Virginia area been?
So we have 159,570 cases, which is up 11,000 from
Oofed.
the last time we recorded. Um, We are at 11,553 hospitalizations, which is up almost 500. And we are at 3,361 deaths, which is up about 140. Um, so just continually bad.
Yeah.
The multi system inflammatory syndrome in children, we have yet another one. So now there are 10 cases.
Oof.
Um, it's just, I think numbers seem to be going up everywhere, but they're certainly not slowing down here,
Yeah.
which sucks. Um, According to Patch.com, I don't know, people people aged between 20 and 29 are the most infected age group in Virginia, which that accounts for 21.4% of all the cases in Virginia are 20 to 29-year-olds.
Wow.
It's kind of predictable when you think about it,
Yeah.
um, given the whole college situation. But yeah, it was a little eye opening. And then I found some good news, bad news.
Okay.
Uh, and I mean, in that each of these facts is both good and bad news at the same time. That's very much 2020. So the ICU occupancy in Virginia is at 82%.
Oof.
So good that it's not very close to 100, but bad that it's so close to 100.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Um, the other one was no hospitals are reporting difficulty obtaining personal protective equipment in the next 72 hours.
Okay.
So everybody's got what they need right now,
That's good.
which is good. bad that we need that,
Yeah.
but good that we have it.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So what about you? What about Colorado?
We're not doing great. Now, of course, for all the listeners out there, we're doing this 4 days later than we usually do it. So some of the
Mm-hmm.
numbers might be a little skewed, but not this skewed. We are at 79,037 cases, which is up 8,000 from our last recording.
Whoa. Holy cow.
That's a huge uptick for us. We're at 7,915 hospitalizations, up 336 from our last recording, and 2,116 deaths, which is up 154 from our last recording. And that is the highest week-to-week death rate we've seen since we started this podcast.
Holy cow. Yeah. What the
So,
heck?
yeah. The governor extended the mandate for masks even longer, but now the longer it goes on and the cases go up, we start hearing all the people saying, well, I thought they were working. And so that's
Ugh,
fun.
God. Well, tell you what, they only work when they're over your fucking face.
Yeah,
I see so many people walking around, like, in order to talk to people, they just pull it down. And I'm like,
that's the
what?
point.
Like, when I'm working in the cafe, I absolutely have people just walk up and pull their mask down to make an order. And I'm like, no, no,
That's
back up, try again
that's when you need it the
while I
most.
spray everything down.
Yeah. Jesus.
Ugh.
In national news, a couple things that we'll maybe not touch on later, so I thought I'll bring them up now.
Yeah.
So our boy Florida is back in the news. So the governor of Florida gave the go-ahead to the Dolphins to have full capacity at their stadium, 65,000 seats.
Oh my God.
And so to have this in a bit of context, Florida has 736,000 cases.
Whoa.
Um, you know how I said 8,000 was a lot week to week, right? For
Yeah.
Colorado? They had 3,000 in a day. Yesterday, they had 3,000 cases, and that wasn't even a high day for them.
Huh.
But open up the stadium.
Oh my God.
And I was going to have a whole gag about how, like, well, the good news is we're not going to need to ever find another topic for our podcast because COVID's never going away.
Oh no.
But then the story, like Florida, only gets weirder and more convoluted.
Okay.
A spokesman for the Dolphins came out and said, we did not ask for full capacity. We don't want full capacity. We're going to continue just to seat 13,000 people.
Huh.
Right?
So is the governor?
The governor just is like, no, open up the stadium. And they're like, no.
Oh my God. He is an actual troll.
Yes.
I absolutely hate him.
So, yeah, it was weird. Like, so, yeah, they're like, no, we don't want that. Like, we want our fans to be healthy. We don't want our players to get sick on the field either. Like, no, let's stick to a low capacity for a while.
Yeah. Like, what? Oh,
It,
okay.
it reminds me of what's going to happen on Halloween, and I'm already going to call it now, is that everyone trick-or-treating isn't about the kids at all. It's all about the parents using their kids to make a statement. That
Probably.
And so I think the governor's like, no, we're making a state. We're opening up. And they're like, no.
It's just all a bummer.
It
Like,
is.
what wanton disregard for life.
Yeah. Especially when
Like,
you're
ugh.
still a hotspot. Like, you haven't gotten any better.
Right, and it doesn't even feel like solely a money grab. It feels more nefarious than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the actual incentive for him to do this was, or which incentive caused him to say these things, but they're all bad.
It's all bad. And on top of that, our boy Michigan's back in the news too.
Oh man.
Stand Up Michigan, which is a rally of various church
Oh,
people,
right.
had a big
Yeah.
old rally at the Capitol protesting the fact that their churches are still closed. I thought God was everywhere, right? So.
Oh, Matt. There's That's exactly what a can of worms sounds like. I wasn't sure what it sounded like, but that right there, that sound bite. Hmm. Run.
Run. So yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm just looking at pictures on statenews.com. Just tons of people. Don't see a mask among them, except for a few Black Lives Matter protesters.
Man,
So
that's such a bummer. It just all of this news is always just so like, what? Why? Were they sleeping through the first part of this pandemic, or did they like it so much that they wanted to make life like this all the time? Like, the heck?
right? Um,
Like, and it's like people are being pitted against each other. Like, oh, these people don't want you to worship. No, we just don't
no,
want you to die.
yeah,
We don't want you to infect other people and make them die.
yeah. Don't twist the words. It's not about you know taking away your worship. We're just making sure people don't die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Womp
it's gotten to
womp.
the point where I don't know if he stole this or not, but Doug, my buddy, likes to say COVID is like abs in the way like at first like oh we're gonna try really hard and we're gonna get rid of this, but it's gone on too long and like nah abs aren't real. Nah, that just doesn't happen.
Abs aren't real. I have a lot of questions.
But like you're gonna work out to get your six pack and you try really hard at first, but you realize it takes more than a week and you're tired and you're done.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's relatable.
that's where I think some people are rightfully at, but also you need to understand, where we're still at, and it's only going to go longer the longer you try and open up stadiums and have rallies
Right.
and
Like there are a couple different perspectives that I can at least respect. Like where you have people that are about to be homeless and evicted and they're like I need my job back. I need to have work.
mm-hmm.
Like I get that. Or, assistance from the government. Well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So you need work. Okay. Like that I can understand and pushing for things like that while I might be like, ooh, that's tricky. Like I don't want you to have to be swimming in germs to make money, but I also understand you need to pay your bills. Okay. But when it comes from like these groups of people that where it's not about paying their bills. It's about, I want to get my hair cut or
Yeah.
I want to go to church, which is, I mean, I'm not dissing anyone for wanting to go to church, but at the end of the day, why are you wanting to go to church and not find another option that's safer for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds a little like this is about you and not about church.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for like companies and governors and stuff making these calls about what's going to be open and what's not, but it doesn't affect them individually.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just trying to make more money.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to do with jobs. It doesn't have to do with anything else. Like everybody's focus seems to be like beyond the area that seems to matter most in my opinion, which is keeping people alive and making sure they can keep a roof over their head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we worried about these other things? It's so confusing to me.
Yeah. No, that's a song I'm working on about Oh, I'm so sorry for you. You have to adjust your life because thousands of people are dying.
Hmm.
So sad your hair looks bad.
Hmm.
Not your hair, but in general.
Oh, thanks. That's the benefit of the curl is that you can kind of hide things in there until a later date.
So like snacks? Just hide
Yes.
snacks in there? Just...
Well, it was a secret, but now that it's on the podcast, but I mean, all y'all don't touch my hair, especially if you're white. These are my fucking snacks.
Yeah. So what's going on new in Luna's world?
Oh man. I just feel like I'm working so freaking much. And again, I'm thankful for being able to work right now, but holy crap, has everyone decided to be like, here are all the things to do right now, and it's due tomorrow.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, what? Oh my God. And I'm like still trying to work at the cafe because I need that cash too, but it's like deadlines and ah. Um, so I mean, nothing quite new, like just busy. Um, I have been doing a little bit more creative, quote unquote, work. It's not quote unquote, it is creative. It's just like different from my typical creativity. So I did a photo shoot, an underwater photo shoot, because there was a mermaid tank that came through town through Circus Siren Pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so photographer Bailey, Catherine Photography, uh, helped make me look like a floaty, floaty mermaid.
Yeah.
And I was pretty happy about that. So that was something new and cool. And I have a friend, it's not launched yet, so maybe I'll talk about it on the next podcast, but they're launching a product and I was able to help them model it. So that should be popping around sometime soon. And then I have another photo shoot this weekend.
Wow.
So
Well done.
if I can't dance and I can't have my usual Halloween performances, then I guess I'll dance very slowly in front of a camera.
Yeah. You can be a
I don't know.
you can be a runway model and just look hangry all the time.
Oh my God. Could you imagine me on runway? First of all, too hungry. Not gonna work. Second of all, I'm not sure that I could take that many steps, like that many uniform steps without some sort of like creative like jump or something, like something to flare it up because if I have to do the same thing like in a row, I'm definitely going to fall on my face. Like 100%. I can't walk like a normal person. I can do turns and leaps and things, but walking not recommended. Certainly not in front of a crowd. Yeah. Anyway, so what's going on with you? What's new in your world?
Not a ton, but I did have an interesting experience this weekend. Went to my comic shop and my hold slot only had 3 issues in it.
How
And
many are supposed to be in there?
I usually get a pretty decent stack. I usually drop about $60. And it wasn't.
I don't know what that means in comic book language.
Comics run $3 to $4 an issue.
Okay,
So like 20 something usually.
interesting. And you only had
I only
three.
had 3.
Wow.
So like part of it is this comic shop's closer. I've gone not tons more often, but a little bit more often. But yeah, I looked at what's coming out, and there's just like a big dip, and it's like a delay to what we saw earlier in the year with COVID and comics. Like they did the
Mhm.
stop shipping in March and April, and came back in May shipping, but like now the editorial process is backed up or something.
Hmm. Interesting. I've been noticing that in a few different industries where it's like, so COVID happened and that everything was like screeched to a halt. And
Mm-hmm.
then a bunch of money got pumped into the economy. So things kind of ramped back up, and then all that money ran out,
Yeah.
and now it's like crickets.
Yeah. That's what it feels like again. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's it always worries me because it's always comics are always teetering on death, essentially. So
You think so?
uh, I don't think the amount of attention the movies and shows and stuff brought enough to for people to like start collecting physical comics.
Oh no, I don't necessarily think that okay, I see your point
Yeah.
now. I don't necessarily think that like new people are going to be like I'm going to start collecting comics. I just feel like there's so many people out there already collecting and like buying and selling comics.
Yeah, but I think I don't know.
So I assume that there are a lot of people just collecting out of but I wouldn't like start collecting comics because I watched, Captain America or something.
Yeah, I mean they used to kind of bank on that. Marvel would
Huh.
even readjust their heroes to make them line up for what happened in the movies, even though the movies are already doing a thing that the comics already did, and it starts this weird feedback loop. like,
Hmm.
when Spider-Man 3 came out, they did a whole bunch of Back in Black Spider-Man issues where he's back in the black suit for some reason. I didn't read them, but like the black suit story already came and went like years ago, decades ago, and they're like, well, it's happening in the movie, so let's do it back in the comic, and then people will buy the comic because he's got the black suit in the movie.
Hmm. I've been superhero movieing wrong.
Yeah.
Not mad about it. I like the way I did it. I don't have any comics.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it picks back up or um what's going on, but yeah, I am definitely getting a lack of issues.
Ah, bummer.
Gives me the openness to collect some old ones that I've been missing and find some of those.
I
But
knew you'd fill the void.
exactly. But that's only going to go for so long before I'm like, you can run out of stuff at some point.
I I'm not convinced that anyone can run out of comics. I've seen how many you have. I've seen how many there are in the world. I've seen how many my partner has. Like, no, I don't think you will run out before you die, frankly. Collect to your heart's content.
All right. And then my other big news is from today is I've now I've leveled up and gained the ability to make skull waffles.
Hell yeah. That thing looks so cool.
So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna totally make some pumpkin waffles for Halloween.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. And you can totally get fun with the colors. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking you could do like half and half, like pour batter in like the two different sides at the same time
Okay, yeah,
and they'll meet in the middle and then you'll have like half and half skull
that'd be cool. Yeah, give that a shot.
or like pour it in the middle and then the outside or whatever. Like you can have some
Get
fun
some
with
fun
that.
with it. Yeah. No, I'm definitely getting some dye, and at bare minimum, they're gonna be orange, but yeah, purple, green. I'll make a bunch.
Waffles. I can't have waffles until I lose a body part, so
Well,
be dreaming of
once you
waffles.
get your surgery, I can make you some waffles.
And then ship
I
them to
guess,
me.
yeah. Although,
It would be very like moldy, but once they like pass the Mississippi and it's like humid, it's gonna be like gross.
well, next time I go over there, because it's actually a decently small waffle iron, I could bring a
All right.
skull waffle iron and we can make waffles
When we're able to travel again
when
in
we're able to travel
2023.
in 2023. Exactly. Oh boy. Speaking of which, let's get into our topic.
So yeah, our main topic today, as you already know if you saw the title of this podcast, but it is basically guess who got the virus this week? Our not so fearless leader. Uh
Yep.
yes, Donald Trump, President of the United States, was diagnosed with COVID-19.
Yeah, it was what a lot of people hoped, but didn't turn out the way they wanted to either.
Yeah. Oh man. It was a wild ride. So basically we're going to take this episode to kind of do what we've always done, which is chronicle the events that have been happening through the pandemic. And this is a big one.
Hmm.
This is a pretty notable
Yeah.
event. So we thought we'd take the episode to talk about um kind of walk through everything that happened this week chronologically. So what does it mean when your president gets the virus?
It means everyone goes
uh,
online and searches the 25th Amendment.
yeah. Oh man. God. So essentially, uh, he looked pretty visibly weak at a couple rallies. He was like really,
Mm-hmm. Huffing and a puffing.
like clearly ill. Um,
He looked like
and
when I'm on
then
a date and I have to walk up a hill and you try and look like you're not out of breath and you're like, mm, that's good.
yeah. Oh God. And so then he's diagnosed with COVID, and immediately the fuckery begins.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was, I believe, 2 days after the presidential debate. So now, then everyone was like, where did he get it? Who did he get it from? Who has he given it to? Does Biden have it?
Hmm.
Does Harris have it? Does everybody ever have it? And so it was a pretty big debacle to start with. Then it was like, okay, he's diagnosed with COVID. He's got all these comorbidities that makes it dangerous for him. So let's keep an eye on him. What's gonna happen? How's he feeling? What are his like vitals and everything? Which of course they wouldn't tell us.
Yep.
And then like magic, he gets helicoptered to oh, I totally did not write down the name of the military base hospital.
Walter Reed Medical Center.
That's it. Okay. So then Trump gets helicoptered to Walter Reed Medical Center where he is obviously being hospitalized for COVID-19. Um, and when this happens, he basically goes silent for a minute, which was glorious.
It was.
There's nothing coming out of the president, which was like both like kind of concerning, and at the same time you're like, wow, how peaceful this Friday evening is.
Like when the white
How
noise
nice.
turns off, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then the following days were full of confusion and evasive answers by his doctors. He had a team of doctors that would come out of Walter Reed Medical Center together uh, for a press conference to discuss his state, where they would say nothing. They would avoid questions. There was a pretty amazing soundbite, if you want a little chuckle, where his doctor is trying to avoid saying that he's was given oxygen. He's just they're like, so has has he received any oxygen since he's been here? Well, he did not receive oxygen today, and he did not receive oxygen on Thursday. And yeah, and then they're like, so has he received oxygen at any point in time? Yes, correct. He has not received oxygen between Wednesday and Thursday. It's like, it was the most ridiculous thing. When I was listening to it, I was like, is this a cartoon?
What's
Like, is this
happening?
Family Guy?
Who's
What's
on first?
happening? Oh my god. So that kind of continues with this non-communication situation, and all of the doctors had to sign an NDAs before they could treat him. So really, it was confusing and awful. And uh, what happens next is he receives three different types of treatments with his state of the art medical care. And Matt, I know you were going to talk about what those treatments
Yep.
were.
Yeah. So, according to USA Today, on an article called How President Trump's COVID-19 Treatment Compares What the Average American Receives. So, first, he got, bumped to the line for everything. His test came back earlier before everybody's. He got, preferential treatment at the hospital. Well, that's going to happen to any president.
Of
But
course, yeah.
so the first thing he got was monocyclical antibodies.
Mm.
Monoclonal?
Monoclonal.
There we go. These are all going to have really bad pronunciations, so throw that out there right now. So he got that 48 hours after his first symptoms. The drug is intended to mimic the natural process of the immune system, providing it with molecules called antibodies the body normally manufactures to fight off specific diseases. It is currently being tested in people of various stages of the disease, including patients who have been diagnosed and are symptomatic but not been hospitalized. So that's the first thing he got. And yeah, again, it's something that's just being tested. Not everyone can get a hold of it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
out there. Then he got remdesivir. Remdesivir.
Recidivir?
Yeah,
Remdesivir?
yeah. There we go. Soon after,
We're not doctors, okay?
I only write like a doctor. Soon after arriving at the hospital Friday evening, Trump was given the first of 5 doses of the antiviral. The drug, made by Glenn Lead scientists of California, was developed to treat Ebola, what has been reproduced as an agent against COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
He got it on day 2. So that's awesome. Private companies will pay $520 per vial and $3,120 for a 5-day course treatment for just that one
Must be
drug. Yep.
nice.
And then he got de- dexamethasone.
Mm.
I'm going to go with that one. Dexamethasone.
Oh, the steroid?
Yeah. Late Saturday, 3 days after his first symptoms and 2 days after his diagnosis, he was given the steroid. The drug, though cheap and accessible, is usually reserved for people with very low oxygen saturation levels or those on ventilators. Because of the lack
Mm.
of data on Trump's oxygen levels, it is unclear whether he met the criteria. So did they just give it to him, or did he actually need it?
Right. Yeah, and it's sounds like from a lot of doctors they were saying that it's reserved for truly severe patients, um, because the side effects are so wacky. And one of the side effects of that particular drug is this like overconfidence of feeling wonderful and fantastic and indestructible. And if you go back and look at his tweets from that night,
Yep.
you can tell. Because he was tweeting like he was high as fuck.
Is that different than his other tweets?
Yes. Unfortunately, it was like what was the one where he ended it with just all caps love?
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah. Wow.
It was pretty wild.
He was also given zinc, Pepsid, aspirin, vitamin D, and methylene. It's a sleep aid, apparently.
Hmm.
Uh,
Shh, Mr. President, go to sleep.
might need to just give him that
Stop
all the time.
tweeting.
Just be like Reagan's second term and just sleep through it.
Yes,
All
exactly.
being
Oh
told
God.
just his medication alone costs the American public $5,000 just for
Just the medication.
over-counter medication. So,
Cool.
because he wanted to have some rallies, we're out
Oh
a bunch of
man.
money.
Yeah, it's I wanted to talk about this in a minute, but just as a kind of a preview to that, it's very telling when people that are against things um like medical systems where people have access to affordable healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
like they're like, "Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. Like everybody should be able to make $1 billion to be able to afford their healthcare, but this is fine." Like,
Yeah.
no, taxpayers paying for this is fine. Like, no, what? You you're not. No, that's not how this works.
We're also supposed to be nice to him while he was sick. We were supposed
What?
to be nice to him while he was sick, too, remember?
Oh
Everyone's
God.
telling us not be so mean.
Yeah, that's right. And I will say that like yes, I'm on Twitter lately and yes, I saw all of the madness where it was people were wishing him well, people were wishing him death, people were wishing him all sorts of things. And then Twitter banned wishing him death. So then like people were getting really creative about how they were wishing him death. But honestly, like I don't understand why we can't just hold two things true. Like, I don't wish death on anyone, including
Mm-hmm.
him. I'm one of those crazy people, okay? But I that doesn't mean that I don't want to see justice. I want to see like the reason I don't wish him death is because I want to see him answer to all of the things that he's
Mm-hmm.
done to like absolutely, you know, ignore this massive pandemic and that resulted in a massive loss of life in this country and for everything else that he's done. Like he needs to answer for it and he can't answer for it if he just gets to die in his sleep. Like
Yeah, no,
it's
I can
not
see that.
justice.
Although you forget, too, he's a rich white guy, so they tend to not have any
Oh no, I
consequences.
know. I'm also very acutely aware of that, unfortunately. But still, like I just think it's okay to be like, okay, I don't like this guy.
But he doesn't
Here are
have
all
to
the
die.
reasons. In fact, I despise him. Can't stand the look of him, can't stand the sound of him. It makes me ill that he leads this country. And I don't wish that he would fall over dead. It's
Yeah, it
possible.
is. Huh.
Anyway, so after the treatments and the shady doctor situation, actually not after the shady doctors, let's just say that that's a constant from here on out because they're still at it today.
Yep.
Um Trump returns to the White House, which he made a giant show of.
Mm-hmm.
It was disgusting, in my personal
Yeah.
opinion. He like comes back to the White House. He makes a point to walk up the stairs instead of going through the downstairs entrance. And then he like stands there wincing as he's breathing, which was hard to watch, frankly. And then he takes his friggin' mask off and walks into the White House. And then the next day, they're like reporting that the White House staffers, like at the time, I think it was like 33 of them had the virus, that had contracted the virus, and then they all had to wear PPE in order to interact with the president. So now they're looking like beehive keepers, like walking around talking to him. It's just, it's comical, but oh so
Yeah.
dark. Um, and so to catch up to where we are today as we record this, now he's back at rallies
Mm-hmm.
and he is basically continuing to spread the virus. And we'll get into a little bit of what this means in the larger scale. But Trump isn't the only one that contracted COVID-19. So Matt, who else has contracted this
Well, of course, the most famous
virus?
outside of Trump is the Prime Minister of England. Blanking on the name all of a sudden.
Boris?
What is his name? Johnson, isn't it? Boris, yeah, Boris Johnson. Yeah, you're right. Boris Johnson got it and recovered. He was also hospitalized for a oddly short amount of time as well. So another one of those.
Birds of a feather.
So in America alone, Ballotpedia lists that on the federal level, there has been 21 diagnosed people and one death. There has, on the state level, there's been 82 politicians diagnosed and 4 deaths. And local levels, 19 diagnosed and 3 deaths.
Hmm. Wow.
So obviously, we remember Stephen Williams was the first, one of the early big names to die of it at the
Mm.
federal level. He was Court of Appeals in D.C.
Mm.
And yeah, quite a few people, including
Herman
Herman
Cain.
Cain. Let's see, I got a whole list here. I'll just kind of pick out some of the notables. Mike Lee, who tested positive right after Trump, a Utah senator. Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. Chris Christie. I don't know if he's actually in charge of anything anymore, but he exists and has it.
He was
Yep,
hospitalized.
and he's not doing great, last I heard.
Oh.
So,
I thought he was
was
discharged,
he?
but maybe. I don't know. Keep going.
Let's see who else we got. Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania, Rand Paul. Let's see, Morgan Griffith and Neil Dunn from Florida. So,
Mm.
this doesn't list by party, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, 23 people diagnosed. And NPR reports that by October, more than 120 Capitol workers have reported positive tests, including
Yeah.
40 members of the U.S. Capitol Police.
Interesting. Yeah, I do want to take this opportunity to talk about the event where Trump announced uh, Judge Amy Coney Barrett's
Mm-hmm.
nomination, and this seems to be the super spreader event that got a lot of the GOP sick. Um, and so we have this situation where these people who are elected officials are at this event maskless,
Mm-hmm.
hugging each other, talking to each other, very close, spreading the virus. That is obvious at this point. Um, and the news cycle over the next week or so has been, it was, I mean, this person got it, this person got it, all linking back to this event. And what we didn't see a lot of, at least I didn't, in the news, was all of the staffers that basically run these people's lives
Yep.
for them. It's like for every big name that you see at these events, you have a at least one person that is running around at their side trying to make sure that their and day goes as smoothly as
Mm-hmm.
possible. And those people are not paid the same way that these people are. These staffers are not valued by the media to mention them and their families, their situations, and they are often in a situation where they have to practice the politics of the person they work
Mm-hmm.
with. So if they are working for someone that doesn't believe in masks or cannot be seen wearing a mask because it appears to be a challenge to the president's stance on
Yeah.
masks, then that means that staffer can't wear a
Yep.
mask. And that's their job. Like that's not their choice. That's their That's something they have to do for work. And those sacrifices are expected when you work in politics. But this is a virus that can kill
Yeah.
people.
Can, has, and will
Like,
continue to.
exactly. So I just think that it's worth remembering that it's not just them that they are endangering. It's the people around them and their staff. I mean, Trump has made it abundantly clear that he does not care about his
Yep.
staff, considering he returned to the White House and stopped wearing a mask around his staff and just wouldn't, even as he returned with still testing positive, so we think, because nothing is truly
Yep.
released. It it's like, hold on, you know you're still positive, but you're going to go back into a building with a bunch of people that may not be positive? Just to what? Make sure that they are now?
Yeah.
Like, what? How selfish can you get? It's just really disappointing to watch.
It is. But it's a, and I don't throw out this word too much, but it's a fascist, show of power is what it is. And that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the entire, walk up as you described. That was, I'm not weak. I'm still the grand leader here.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, it's been really discouraging to tap into that. So if you've been avoiding all of it, good
yeah.
job. I'm glad we could summarize it for you.
Well, I have a theory too, because some of the pictures
What's
from the
that?
vice presidential debate, I think Pence has it.
I
Because he's
agree.
got
I
COVID
mean, well,
eye
I
going.
honestly I don't know. I just don't think that he's a picture of health in general. I kind of think that he might actually just be wet bread that's like pasted into this exoskeleton that doesn't like that has facial like his facial muscles don't move. Maybe his face is made out of wet
That could
bread.
be.
And that explains why a fly landed on him and was like, "I live here." Like I don't know. That guy freaks me out.
He
Like,
is.
he just gives me the
That's because
heebie-jeebies.
he looks like the evil preacher from a horror movie that, like, murdered, like, came back as a ghost because he murdered all his flock or whatever.
I
That's
don't
what he looks
know.
like to me.
He just, to me, uh, I'm not going to say that on the pod. Never mind. But he just creeps me right the hell out. But anyway,
Hey, we do.
I think that more people have it than we know
Mm-hmm.
of. And I just want us to kind of remember the staff that are also in danger
Absolutely.
that no one seems to care about. Um, And I just saw right before we started recording, apparently Trump is at a rally right now, or was earlier today, saying that he is strong because he has experienced COVID and like has lived through it and therefore he's immune and so he's going to kiss all the men and the beautiful women in the crowd. It's like, what the hell? No, that's assault.
Yeah.
Although it's his rally, so it's probably consensual, but still. It's just I don't know. I just this brings me to the other point that I wanted to discuss on this
Yeah.
episode, which is we now have a president who is looking at the American people in the eye and saying, "I got this virus for you. And so now that I've gotten it, I'm stronger than my opponent and I have firsthand knowledge of the virus." Okay, so if that messaging works for you, if you're like, "Oh, he does have firsthand knowledge of the virus." What the hell does that mean? Why is that a positive thing? Does that mean that Biden needs to go out and contract the virus in order to be a viable opponent to Trump? No, that's fucking stupid. God damn it. These people are like, "Oh, he's so strong. He got the virus for us and he's proving that, he's like able to recover." It's like he got the virus cuz he's
Yeah.
stupid. And he wouldn't listen to the doctors, so now he's trying to overcome it, but he's framing it as like this great sacrifice that he's doing for the American people, and only he can understand the virus because only he has gotten
Yeah.
it. Good Lord, if that messaging works on you, I fear for your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
What else works on you if that works on you?
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, he got it being an idiot and continues to pass it on to more people that are idiots and people that just have to be around him. Like, any cleaning people or staff or whatever at the White House that have to be there to work. And
Mhm.
it's. I just wish someone would take it seriously.
Agreed. I think that's my whole thing. Like, regardless, like, even if Trump were more of a moderate or whatever, I don't even freaking care. It's not about his politics right now. It's about him ignoring science, getting the virus, and then telling people, don't worry about it. It's fine. Go get it. Don't be scared of
Yeah,
it.
Twitter even had
Like,
to break down and remove one of his tweets because he said something along those lines.
because he said that he was immune
Yeah,
now. No, that's not how it works. You can get it again.
we've seen
Like,
cases.
it,
Yeah.
this guy, like, it's like he has absolutely politicized science, like belief in science, and that is a tragedy in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, because science does not discriminate.
Yeah.
Doesn't care what you believe in. If you're going to die of cancer, you're going to die of cancer. If you're going to get COVID, you're going to get COVID. It does not care which economic plan you
Yeah.
like. Like, it's just a shame that the leader of America is touting this
Yep.
crap, and I'm tired of it.
As he should be.
Oh God. Anyway, so um, you know, we'll go back to having a regular topic in the next episode, but we thought we'd take today to talk about this pretty big
Yeah.
story in the COVID experience of 2020,
Yeah.
and we'll see where it takes us. I mean, this story's not over,
Oh yeah,
so.
no, it's weird because yeah, during the 1920 pandemic, um, Hoover might have had it, but they didn't.
Oh,
But they
really?
deny it,
Mm,
and
that's not new.
um, there's theories like that's what screwed up the peace accords at the end of World War I. Is a lot of people that got the 1920 flu had severe anger issues after, like it messed with your wiring, and he was just being a dick, and it
Mm-hmm.
broke the world.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we have no idea what his health is. They will not say the last time that Trump
negative.
had a negative
Yep.
test result, and they will not say if he has a negative test result now. But guess who's out there doing rallies?
Yep.
So, yep.
You gotta say it is please avoid your president at all costs. Please stay at least 6 feet away from your president.
At this point, a little further might not hurt.
I mean, yeah, Melina got it, and she definitely does not get more than 6 feet closer to him.
Good God. I mean, I'm happy that she's not like she wasn't hospitalized or anything, but like, can you imagine? She can't even stand holding his
Yeah,
hand. Could you imagine? She's just like, I got this from you. I feel bad for Melania sometimes.
I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't. Uh,
Anyway,
anyway, so let's move on to the next part of our podcast, which is very important this last week. Our distractions. What are we doing to distract ourselves with the impending whatever happening in DC?
yeah, for real. Well, like I said, I've just been super busy lately, and with all of this stuff happening and with watching just everything around the election ramping up, like it's just been like I'm super busy and sad, like those two things have become like bed friends. So I've been reading The Turn of the Screw, which I've been really enjoying. Um, and I'm getting close to done, getting closing in on the back half of the book. And I also started The Haunting of Bly Manor, which dropped this past Friday, and it's so lovely to have a new ghost story. I absolutely adore ghost stories, and I think it's really good so far. And it actually follows the book really pretty closely, which is surprising considering The Haunting of Hill House did not. Um, but I'm just Mike Flanagan just write ghost stories forever. If you need me to, I'll die so that you can just write a ghost story about me. So I can come back and haunt people. Like it's
The
just
ghost on the pod.
ghost on the pond. Yeah. I'm just so thankful for a ghost story in October.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you distracting yourself
Sort of the same.
with?
I've dived right into fall being fall more than I even usually do. I think more is just more distractions. Made a big old pot of um, butternut squash soup, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been planning out my Halloween. The space launch last I checked
Yay.
actually got moved, so I'm going to be able to watch 14 straight hours. So I think I have my movies picked out with the theme of why didn't I watch that yet? I should probably get on that.
Yes, you should. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna feel so much better after your Halloween. Like you finally watched it.
And then planning my menu for the entire day of that, and making some pumpkin muffins, some pumpkin cookies, some pumpkin waffles.
Ugh, that sounds so good.
Get
Such a good
It's gonna be
plan.
fun. Start a fire at some point when it gets dark. It's gonna be a good
Yeah.
night. I'm been excited for that. And that's been my main distraction. Uh,
I love that. That's really cool. I like that you're planning it all
yeah,
out. I'm not surprised
right.
at all that you're planning it all out. Like, not even remotely, but I am happy that you
Yeah,
are. Sounds
and
really
I had a
cool.
bit of retail therapy too. That's been happy. So along with the skull waffle maker, I got cookie cutters that are all like bats and coffins and vampire fangs and ghosts. And I
Cute.
got I've been cooking long enough that I can finally go. I don't like my garlic press. I need a better garlic press.
Ooh,
I'm able to like
fancy. All right.
get annoyed at my tools and not just use like I still have that. Let's just use that. So
Man, that's better than me. I'm always like, I could get a garlic press, or I can use a spoon. That's
and then yeah, I
awesome.
bought some art from a local artist that I know. She's amazing, and so when I get that, it'll be fun. Brooke
Yeah,
Van
that's
Devler,
so
if you
cool.
find her on the Instagrams, she's got some really good stuff.
Insta.
So yeah, that's what I've been distracting myself with.
That's some awesome
Yeah,
distractions. I'm gonna have to steal
you
from that.
should.
I think I'm gonna have to like try to. I haven't planned out Halloween weekend yet because you know how I feel
Yeah,
about plans, but I think it wouldn't hurt to have like a range of
there you go.
options.
A loose guideline of things that you may want to do.
A loose guideline of options that I may or may not choose from, no
There you
pressure.
go. So I think that'll take us
Cool.
to our favorite part of the podcast. Only in a pandemic.
A major civil unrest.
Oh, stories that can only happen in a pandemic and or major civil unrest. What do you got for us this week?
So it is totally exactly in line with what you've been talking about for your distraction. Only in a pandemic specifically this one that's going on in October, am I kind of nervous about the pumpkin carving situation because I have a tendency to get a little addicted. Where I start out with like two and then I end up with like eight. And I'm like, what do I do with all these pumpkins? And now there are fat squirrels outside and now they're rotting. And so I don't know if this is a problem or not, but considering that, like, I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
home, like, there's nothing stopping me. Usually I have shows that I have to be at rehearsal for, I have all this other stuff distracting me. I can't just sit at home carving pumpkins.
Now you can.
But this
Yep.
year, like, I'm busy, but I don't have to sleep in the middle of the night while I'm carving a pumpkin. Like, pumpkins, like, are higher than sleep in the hierarchy of
That's
things.
fair. You should maybe get a theme
So,
going. Do like the entire Adams family. That'd be
yeah,
fun.
I always think about doing that, and then I get, like, distracted halfway through, and I'm like, nah. But maybe, I mean, now that I have, like, so much freaking time, I've just been thinking about, like, different ideas or maybe
Mm-hmm.
themes or something. haven't really decided yet, but usually what I do is I just get the pumpkins and I stare at them. And then I go, You, you'll be Frankenstein.
Mm.
Like, ooh, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do all the Universal
That'd be
monsters.
fun. There you go.
That would be fun.
I always like to find a
Anyway,
really round one and make a Jack Skellington. I do that every so often.
I always get a short, a short, wide one
Mm-hmm.
that is like just a exceedingly happy face.
There you go.
Like I do it every year with the little like carrot eyes and the like super happy face. Like it's I don't know why, but I've been doing that one since pretty much day one. And I just like having a super happy little pumpkin friend.
Very nice.
I usually carve it like around one of the first ones I carve so that it like gets to hang out with me for a while.
Nice.
It's cool.
Very good.
Anyway, so what's your only in a pandemic story?
Only in a pandemic do drunk white girls become even more of a public nuisance.
What? They can be more?
Even more. So I made my way to Kinga's this Saturday with Doug. We decided we wanted to go to a bar, and Kinga's already had a patio and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. And apparently, drunk white girls have not gone extinct during this pandemic. And there was definitely one running around hugging everybody and touching, and
No.
yeah.
Bad. Did you have a spray bottle that you could spray? Get out of here.
So yeah, apparently that's still a thing that's happening in bars.
Was she between the ages of 20 to 29?
I would put her in that range. Yep,
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. Like an actual nightmare.
a little bit.
Like I've gone to Fallout, I think at this point just once, maybe twice. Um, and like yeah, everything's all distanced and I just sat at my like little table with my bottle of wine and was like, this counts as socializing while I look at everyone suspiciously and then I leave. And but like everybody's required to sit down at your table. You have to stay there. Like if you're not drinking or eating, you have to have your mask on, etc. But like if someone would have like gotten up and run around like that, may have just thrown the wine bottle at them. I'm not sure what I would have done. That sounds terrible. Yeah.
Good times.
But did you get the Old Bay wings?
No, we actually ended up not eating there at all. We kind of ate
Oh, okay.
before. We just kind of went to drink. But I did get my Jiviets, so that's always good.
Good.
So,
Awesome.
which then leads us into the last bit of our show before we wrap this up, our hermit levels. So on the Leonardo DiCaprio scale, of being a hermit, a 10 being the man in the iron mask. You're in a cell completely by yourself, isolated from anyone, and people slide you food through a hole in your door. Or a 1 being the Wolf of Wall Street and you're doing coke off a hooker's ass. Which sounds like a terrible idea during a pandemic.
It does.
So where are you at on the scale?
I didn't think about that, but I was like, well, what is on the hooker's ass? Like, is she wearing a latex suit?
No, you got to do it naked, so she's gonna have some sweat on there that you just snorted up there. So if she's got it, you just snorted COVID right into your brain.
But is it worth it because ass?
I mean, it's definitely on my bucket list to do at some point.
Oh god. So my hermit level this week is an 8.5.
Oh, going down a little.
I know. I've gone down a half point, and that is because I did do those photo shoots.
Oh yeah.
They were with the same person. So,
But it was a new person you saw and you went out and did a thing.
but it was a new human that I don't typically see, and I wasn't getting paid for these. So, it was just yes.
Yes.
0.5. So what about you?
Probably at like a 4.
You
I
little
know,
social
right?
butterfly.
Went to a brewery with a friend before, like after our recording last week, and then me and Doug went out to a bar, and then I went and saw my family. We just kind of had to get together, so I've been out and about.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
So hopefully it was all safe. You know, it's been a couple days, so nothing happening yet. So we will see.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and wrap this guy up. Where can people find you if they want to hit you up?
Before
Oh
we
yeah.
wrap up, just a reminder to wait for the end of the episode for a special announcement if you missed it on the last episode.
Yes.
Okay, now let's wrap up.
Now we can wrap it up. Where can people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at LUNA_MINUIT, and it is the same on Twitter. And you can find us at Goth and Sloth on Instagram and Twitter, and gothandsloth@gmail.com, especially for our special announcement at the end. You may want to save that email address. And Matt, where can they find you?
I am wizard_Matt on the Twitters, Wizard Cosplay on the Instagram, both of which I posted my awesome new waffle maker. So if you're curious what that looks like. My band is Leonardo Band on SoundCloud and Facebook, and my YouTube channel is Matt the Feral Wizard. And I have my new solo act, Matthew James, which is Matthew James 2020 on SoundCloud, where I just released a song. And Matthew, by the way, Matthew James is taken. Matthew James Band, Matthew James Music was all taken.
Ugh. Matt.
It's like, I picked bad.
Damn.
I'll have to just start spelling it weird just to have the option. But yeah, so check all those out.
Awesome. Yay. Congrats on your new project.
Yeah, I'll see how it goes.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for listening, and please wash your hands.
And wear your damn mask.
It's special announcement time. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is in exchange for a screenshot of a review on Apple Podcasts or sharing something about our podcast or sharing our podcast on your social media, we will send you a personal note, handwritten by one of us. You can make a request if you want, or we'll just kind of hash it out. And that note will be unique and personal to you. So just a little fun giveaway for the month of October. So, anytime before our sacred day of Halloween, send us a screenshot of a review or you sharing the podcast on your social media, and we will send you a handwritten note. Our email address is gothandsloth@gmail.com. Yay! Okay, bye!